Thanks for the intro. Hey, everyone, and welcome to Sleigh, Your Lessons with Lumio. Before I totally get started, I'm going to preface by saying that I'm going to use Lumio for my presentation, and in a few moments here, I'm actually going to have you all log in to my Lumio lesson so you get to experience what your students would when you're using Lumio. Now, the thing I wanted to preface is there are 151 of us in this meeting, so do expect that it might get a little bit laggy with us a few moments there, but I genuinely would love for you all to log into Lumio lessons so you get to engage with it and get that authentic experience. So with that, just a quick little intro about me. My name is Michelle, and I am one of the professional development specialists at Smart and Lumio. Usually I work with the West Coast in Canada, but I'm super excited to hang out with you guys today. I live in Arizona, and prior to being here in Arizona, I was a kindergarten and first grade teacher in Chicago and got my master's in curriculum and instruction. So really excited to just kind of be on the teacher side of things now and get to spend time with you. My email is on the screen here. We'll be sure towards the end, I'll share that with you in the chat as well as my Instagram. If you are on Teachergram, I do post some different tips and tricks in there. So that's just a little bit about me. So what I'm going to have everyone do right now, and I'll put the instructions in the chat as well, is we'll go to lumioclass.com. And if you can't, that is no worries at all. Again, my purpose here is that we're really just able to get an authentic experience like our students would. So if you're able, would love it if you clicked on the link in the chat. Just go to lumioclass.com. And you'll get a screen that kind of looks like my little screenshot I have over here. And you'll select Join as Guest. Do not sign in. Just click Join as Guest. And I'm putting all my instructions in the chat for you as I'm talking. And then it'll ask you for my code. And my code is 181461. So I'm going to pause for just about 2 minutes here to let anyone get logged in. And I'm just going to remind everyone of that quick little preface that I said in the beginning, is that there are now 157 of us in this call, which is so exciting. Lumio can handle that many people, but it could get a little bit laggy because we're going to do a couple group activities. So just be patient. But I do ask if you're able to log in as a student so you get that authentic experience. Thanks, Lee, for putting that in the chat as well. All right, I'm going to wait just another minute here. So instructions in the chat or on the screen, lumioclass.com, join as guest. And 181461 is my code. If you are an existing Lumio or Smartboard user, previously it would have been go to hellosmart.com. And this is something that was just updated last week for anyone that might be an existing user. It was hellosmart.com. No worries. You can still use hellosmart.com just in case anyone looked at my screen and was like, oh, there was something different there. Perfect. All right, it looks like I've got about 78 of you joined into my lesson. So let's just wait one more minute. Yep, exactly. I'm seeing some comments in the chat. It might be just a little bit slow, so no worries. So here's kind of what I like to do is choose your own adventure. If you'd like to just kind of sit back and follow along in the Google Meet and just look at the screen, that's totally okay. Or if you kind of would like that hands-on experience as a student, you can log in. Just expect that it might be a little laggy because there's so many of us in here. Looks like 162 folks in the Google Meet. Looks like 95 logged into my Lumio lesson. So what I'm going to do is, just because we don't have that much time together, I'm going to go forward. But those instructions to join in are still in the chat if you'd like to participate. And what I'll also do is on my screen, I just put my little code, my class ID on the bottom of the screen. So if you'd still like to join in, that is there. Again, just a reminder, you can definitely just sit back and watch in the Google Meet. All right, so my goal here today is to show you a few different things that you can do in Lumio. And as I do it, I'm going to think of different ideas for you of how you might use it in your class. I'm trying to respect the winter and the holidays. So the activities that we're doing today are going to be a little bit more winter fun. But I'll also, like I said, shout out different ideas that you might use with your students. So the activity that we're about to do is called a shout it out. And so what I'm going to do on my screen here is click start for class. And shout it out is an activity that is such a great entry point for students to participate in a class discussion if maybe raising their hand isn't going to be at the forefront for them. So maybe they're shy, they've got an IEP, maybe they're learning English, or maybe raising their hand just isn't their thing. This is a really good way to get a discussion going. And for some students, being able to process their thinking by typing first, it gets them a little bit more ready to raise their hand. So my question on the screen for you, you have a little submission box, and it was, what are your favorite winter holiday traditions? Looks like I've got lots of different ideas coming in here. So I'm going to give you about 10 more seconds if you'd like to participate to do that. And then I'll have you take a look at my teacher's screen here, and I'll show you some of my favorite parts of a shout it out. All right. I love how much participation is going here. I do appreciate it. I know it's the end of your day on a Thursday, so I do appreciate it. All right, if you are flipping between screens, come back over to the Google Meet for a second and take a look at my teacher's screen here. So on your screen, you were just able to answer my question. On my screen, what I can do is click on these because they're coming up quite small, and I can toggle through these. So putting up the Christmas tree, family time, hot chocolate. Would you rather questions eat 100 gingerbread men or 100 candy canes, for example? Oh, those are fun. So a couple of things that I can do from a shout it out screen, maybe let's just say that this response that I'm shaking around here maybe was a little inappropriate. I didn't want it on my screen. Very easily can drag it over to my trash can and delete it. Another thing that I can do, remember a second ago, I was saying that a shout it out's a really great entry point for my students to participate in a discussion if maybe raising their hand wasn't their thing. Another way that I can get them a little bit more inclined to participate is I can click on my settings gear and I can turn off display names. So now on my screen, all of you turn into just little icons, and I have my legend here that I can close. And that again, maybe makes my students a little bit more comfortable. Different ways to use a shout it out with your students. Again, I'm going to be showing you just fun like holiday examples, not so much academic, but a couple of academic examples that you can do here. You can put up a background picture and ask, if you're working with primary students, what's the first sound you hear? And maybe you put up a picture of a dog. Or maybe you give your students, if you're a math teacher, a math equation and have them submit their responses. For science, maybe you're putting up an image and kind of having them do like a think, pair, share. So those are some different ideas for a shout it out. And Noelle, if at any point there's a question in the chat, or Lee, that you might think I should answer out loud, please let me know. All right, so here's what I'm wondering. So I know that we might have a wide range of Lumio users here in the call with us. So I have a little self-assessment kind of Lumio journey here. So in a moment, I'm going to turn this page into a collaborative workspace. And my little cars down in the bottom right corner are infinitely cloned. So I'm going to ask when I convert this, if you could take one of those cars and move it to the roadmap to let me know where you are with using Lumio. Again, you can be watching in Google Meets or participating with me in my Lumio lesson. The instructions are pinned in the chat. Just remember that there is a lot of us in the Lumio lesson, so it might be just a little bit laggy. It won't be with your students, though. So I'm going to go over to my People tool right here, and I have three options. I can convert this page into an individual handout, a group workspace, or a whole class whiteboard. So if you like Jamboard, which is getting discontinued at the end of this month, this is our version of a Jamboard. So I'm going to convert this to a whole class whiteboard, and we'll all get access to collaboratively work on this page. So again, in the bottom right corner, there's 4 different cards you can choose from. They're all infinitely cloned. Grab a card and drag it to the road and let me know where you are with using Lumio, a quick little self-assessment. Maureen, I just converted it actually. So before I had it as just a looking page, and now I've converted it to a whole class whiteboard. So you should be able to now. Awesome. There we go. Okay, so looks like we've got a majority of us kind of novice here. I've got some developing. Awesome. So I'm hoping that today you can walk away with an idea of some different things that you can do in Lumio. And no worries for anyone just hopping in. Again, you can just follow along in Google Meet or log into my Lumio lesson. Awesome. Thanks everyone for participating. So this is a whole class whiteboard, which means we can all participate together. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about a whole class whiteboard in a few slides. But one thing that I can do from here is it looks like some of you are still moving those cars around, and maybe I'm your teacher and I need your attention back on me. Something that I can do in the top right corner of my screen, I have a toggle that says everyone can edit. I can turn that off, and now on your screen you can look but you can't touch. So I've got your attention back on me now, and then just as easily I can move that and turn it back on. One other thing that I would just like to call out from here is maybe I'm wondering who's my leader of the pack here. I'm wondering who this little truck over here belongs to. What's really cool about a whole class whiteboard is I can click on any contribution made and see who made that contribution. So I'm going to click on this truck here, and I can see that that was someone named Springer. Hey, Springer, welcome to the call. So really cool. If I need to do a check-in with that student or that educator, I'm able to see who made that contribution. Thank you, Springer, for participating. All right, so for any of us that are new to Lumio, what exactly is it? So why use Lumio? So we're educators. I'm a former kindergarten and first grade teacher. It's December. We're so busy, right? So all that we're doing with Lumio, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it as we go on here, is we're just looking to enhance our instructional practices and create really engaging experiences for our students, giving them different opportunities to draw on prior knowledge, think about all the different things that they've learned, and have a really fun and engaging classroom environment for our students. So what exactly is it? If this is our first time logging in, here's what I would like everyone to do for a second. Don't look at the screen. Close your eyes for a second. I want you to think about your teaching day. Okay, you're up at the front of your classroom. You're walking around. Think about how many different educational technology platforms or websites you use in a day. Let's think of a few like Kahoot, YouTube, Google Slides, iExcel, maybe you've got a digital version of your curriculum, right? That's a lot of websites. And for you as the educator, that's a lot of tabs for you to navigate as the teacher. It's a lot of tabs for your students to navigate. So the goal of Lumio is that all of those things can live together in one tab. So remember I said December, we're super busy, right? We're getting ready for the holidays, coming back for the new year. We don't want you to start over. So you take the things that you already have. I heard from Noelle and Lee that we are PowerPoint and Google users. So maybe you have existing presentations. Maybe you created some really pretty stuff in Canva. You import all those really great things that you have right into Lumio, and then you add in engaging pieces to your existing lessons. So you're not starting over, you're just kind of spicing it up, right? So you're slaying those lessons with Lumio. So just on the screen here, a few different things that you can import right into a Lumio lesson, and all of it lives in one lesson file. So I'm doing a lot of talking. I'd like to do a little bit of showing here. So just before we do, I want to really quickly recap what I just said about a minute ago of there's so many websites that we use, right? Again, like Kahoot, YouTube, Google Slides, iExcel, digital math curriculum, but there's a reason that we use all those, right? We use Kahoot to evaluate our lessons. Maybe we use iExcel to give our students a moment to explore a new concept. And so the goal of Lumio, there is an activity in Lumio that you can do to kind of keep you back all in one lesson file. How are we doing so far? Do I need to take a break or anything here? We're good? Thanks for the thumbs up. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Awesome. All right. Yes, Leslie, I will be sharing this at the end of our presentation. Okay, so I just have, like I said, I'm going to go through and I have some holiday themed questions for you, but I'm going to, as I'm talking, listen in because I'll give you some different instructional ideas of how you could use this. So within Lumio, we have different pre-made graphic organizers. All I did was I brought in this Venn diagram and I added some content to it. So let's think about something that we're doing with our students this month. What are some fun holiday themed activities that you do in your classroom? That's part one. What are curriculum aligned activities that still need to be done? So like despite all the holiday festivities, what are some curriculum activities we still need? And then in the middle, let's take a second to think about, different ways that we can combine our curriculum necessities and some holiday themed activities. Now, what is my favorite thing about a whole class whiteboard? Earlier, I asked you a question with a shout it out, right? Where you got that submission box and all you could do was type your response. But I'd like to think about all of my learners. Maybe not all of my learners can type, or maybe they just have different ways of showcasing their understanding. So I have not yet converted this page into an activity because I would just like to show you really quick what you can do. When I do convert this into a whole class whiteboard, on the left side here, you're going to see all of these tools. You don't yet because I haven't made it an activity, but when I do, you'll be able to click on the pencil if you'd like to write. You can click on the A and then on the screen for a text box, or you can click on this button right here that has the heart and the plus sign in it, and that's the gallery. Here you can bring in stickers, you can bring shapes, images from the web, which comes from Bing Safe Search, so it's pre-filtered images. Or thinking about my students and their accessibility needs, you can also record your response. So what I'm going to do is come to my people again and convert this page to a whole class whiteboard. So let's take the next, let's say 3 minutes. And let's answer the questions and look at all the different ways that you can engage. Again, on the left side of your screen, you should have all these little icons. If you don't, you might have 3 dots. If you click on those 3 dots, all these little options will appear. So what are some fun holiday themed activities you do in your classroom? What are curriculum aligned activities that still need to be done this month? So like benchmark testing, formative assessments, and then let's think of some ways that you can actually combine. How can you take those curriculum aligned activities and make them holiday themed? So you'll see, I see someone brought in an image. Some of you guys are typing. You can also, again, click on the button that has the heart and the plus sign, and there's also an audio recording option to really address those accessibility needs in our classroom. So it looks like cookie decorating, winter break escape room, collect gifts, gingerbread reading. Ooh, what's gingerbread reading? Gratitude gifts, coloring pages, creating Christmas greetings, a STEM activity, New Year's resolution. And then let's see some curriculum aligned activities, USAO2 semester exams, midterms, write letters to Santa, snowman count, compare Polar Express movie and book. Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to move that response to in the middle because if we're comparing, right, we can put that into our ELA curriculum, I think. Awesome. So again, a couple of things that I can do from a whole class whiteboard. This is just a really good opportunity to get my students engaged. So I can click on a response. I can see who it belongs to. So compare Polar Express movie and book. That looks like it was made by Zulima. I hope I pronounced your name right. Please forgive me if I didn't. So really cool from here. Also, if there is something on my screen that I don't want, I could also delete if I needed to. I can also toggle off editing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to take control away from you for a second. There we go. So now on your screen, all you can do is look, and you can't touch again because I toggled off that option. So a few different things you can do with whole class whiteboard, a really great way to do a discussion with your students without having them raise their hand first if they don't need to or they don't want to. We have students that we know that they know the answers, but raising their hand might not be their preferred method. So giving them a different way to collaborate with each other. Let's see, take a look at the questions. Can the teacher view and see the emojis and stickers? Yes, I can. So I can click right over here. And I do have the stickers. So if I wanted to respond to someone that something said, let's see. I'm just going to keep using this example right here because it's in the middle of my screen. But compare Polar Express movie and book. I can add that there and it'll show for my students. So really great collaborative workspace.
And Michelle, I'm just going to attach there. The reason why there are so many emojis is because we have over 100 participants on there. So please, it will not normally look this crazy when you're doing it with your class. So that was another situation.
Absolutely. Yep. Thanks for that call out, Lee. So again, right now, it looks like I've got 99 of you logged in. Hopefully you're not in a classroom with 99 students. I taught for Chicago Public Schools. I mean, usually it wasn't that many. But when you're working with your students, it won't be quite this crazy. There's just a lot of us in here. And I really wanted you guys to be able to log in so you could really try it out the way your students could. So yeah, Jillian, it won't look like this when you're doing it with your students. There's just a lot of us in here. All right, so I'm gonna just take this opportunity to let's play a fun game. So this is meant to be funny Christmas movie descriptions. So this is one of our 12 games in Lumio, and I'm gonna show you how to build a game, but this one here is called a match 'em up. So from my teacher screen, what I can do is click on model activity. And all you need to do here is, let's see, there's some descriptions. They're quite small. I can click on that little blue box. Oh, this is a funny one. A grown man discovers sugar tights and the true meaning of Christmas. Remember, these are kind of like funny Christmas descriptions. And I think that's the movie Elf. So I'm going to match those up here. And then it goes over here. So as a teacher, I can demonstrate this activity. Now, I will ask if you're logged into my lesson, go ahead and try to play the game. If it's not working, remember that there's a lot of us in this call, and it will work when you're with your regular size group of students. So let's think of different ways that you could do this with your students. So if you're a science teacher, let's say chemistry, maybe you're matching elements to their values. Maybe you are a kindergarten teacher, and maybe you're matching first letter sound and CVC words. What else can we do? Maybe you are a math teacher and you're doing problems with their solutions. So different ways to do this. And again, I will show you how I built this game in just a little bit here. I'm going to click, yep, rhymes. That's a really fun idea, Claudia. Thank you for that. So matching rhyming words. So what I'm going to ask everyone to do right now, if you're logged into my Lumio lesson, go ahead and pause and come back over to the Google Meet. Come back over to the Google Meet if you are playing the game, because I'm going to show you something really cool from the teacher side. So again, just as a reminder, that is quite small. You can click on it like that. It will blow it up for you. But here's the really cool part for me as the teacher. Maybe I'm doing this to do a check for understanding for my students. Again, I just gave you a few different ideas of maybe matching CVC words or rhyming words, or chemistry, matching elements and their values. But what is the point of doing a game if I can't get data, right? So if I click on view progress, I can see that 73 of you are in progress, 7 of you are completed. I can do a little general look here to see how everyone is doing. But also what I can do right here is click student progress. Now, when I do click on student progress, it's always going to say, you're about to show student names and scores. Are you sure you want to continue? Like, you wouldn't do this in front of your students, right? Yes, Noelle, great idea. Foreign language words and their English translations. I love that idea. I'm going to click on show student progress. And what I can do here is take a look at how all of you are doing. Now, Michelle, I'm putting you on the spot because you have a really awesome name, if that's okay. I'm going to click on Michelle's here just to use that as an example. I can click into Michelle and I can see how Michelle is doing. Now, let's just say that Michelle got all the wrong answers. It would itemize that for me. So I would get that authentic data here. I can see how much time Michelle spent on the activity. Now, let's just pretend that Michelle got all the wrong answers and maybe she only spent like 20 seconds on it and the class average was a few minutes. Kind of right away getting that instant feedback as the teacher. Now, what's really cool about the game as the student, when you're done with the game, you can reset and keep playing for that repetition. But me as a teacher, I still get that authentic data. Now, here's the really exciting part. If any of you are existing Lumio users, we just released a brand new feature last week. So right over here is this new button that says export results. So it's almost time. Yeah, we're super pumped. It's almost time for the holidays. We're so busy. So now what you can do is click export results and it'll generate an Excel sheet for you with the grades and data from the game. This works on 3 of our 12 games. Match them up, super sort, and rank order. Again, I'm going to show you in a little bit how I built this game. All right. I'm going to show you just one more activity as a student, and then I'm going to hop over and show you how to build these. I just want to show you kind of 3 different things. We did a shout it out. We've done a whole class whiteboard. We've done a game. And now I would like to show you an individual handout. So kind of what it looks like, instead of having to make copies and print worksheets and collect papers and take them home, here's how you can do an individual handout. So what is your favorite winter memory? Describe it using all of your senses. What did it look like, smell like, taste like, and sound like? This could have been, I could have put any text in here. Again, I'm just kind of sticking with the fun holiday theme here. But to really accommodate my students, I also recorded myself reading these instructions if they needed that auditory support. And now what you'll also be able to do is I'm reminding you that you can, again, draw, type, bring in images, or record yourself. So what I'm going to do now, come to my people tool, and instead of whole class whiteboard this time, I'm going to convert it to an individual handout. So now each of you on your screen have your own copy of this worksheet. And I have my dashboard here. So let's all take a second to try out using this now as an individual handout. Yes, some of these games can be made in minutes. I wouldn't even say minutes, like minutes singular. And I'm going to show you how fast you can do it right after this. This is my last student example. Then I'm going to show you how easy it is to build all these things. Yes, there are templates, templates galore. You don't have to do anything. We take all the work for you. Kelly, this is awesome. Yes. Oh my God, when I was teaching kindergarten, I wish somebody told me about Lumio. Oh my God, especially when I was teaching remote. Oh, awesome. Hector, I'm glad you like it. Yep, character to description. So many other ideas coming in. I love it in the chat. It does work on your smartboard. It pulls right up on your smartboard because Lumio is a web-based browser. So if you log into your board, your Lumio lessons will come right up. You can do equations, Samantha, correct. You can match equations and their solutions. Awesome. All right, so let's all take a second. Let's take a pause. If you're participating in my Lumio lesson, come back to the Google Meet, and I'm going to show you what I can do as the teacher. And I know I'm asking you guys to do a little bit of a juggling act here, so I appreciate you kind of flipping between the 2 screens. So come back over to me and the Google Meet, because I'll show you what I can do as the teacher. All right, so looks like I've got a ton of you that started working on this worksheet. So one thing that I didn't call out, which I should have a second ago when you were still on your Lumio screen, is in the top right of your screen, you had a done button. And one way that as an educator, I like to use that done button other than just saying, hey, Michelle, I'm done, is I'll tell my students, if you're feeling brave today and I can show your work on the big screen, go ahead and hit that done button, because then what'll happen is on my screen here, I have little check marks. So I'm going to, let's take a look here. Let's go with Noelle, if that's okay. I'm going to use yours. I'm going to click into Noelle's, and then I can see Noelle's activities. So
I don't have a great example. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings. So I can see Noelle's work here. It looks like, what does it look like? White and sparkly. Oh, I'm thinking maybe you're talking about snow. Okay, so one thing that I can do as a teacher that's really cool is I can actually offer Noelle some feedback here. And I'm going to choose to do that by typing. I'm going to say, are you talking about snow? And only Noelle would see that on her screen. And I'm going to add in a little sticker because maybe I really like that. And I'd like to hear what Noelle is saying. And I want Noelle to keep going. From here, I can take a look at just about anyone's. All of this work, by the way, is saving right in this file. So again, I don't need to print anything. I don't need to do anything, bring any papers home with me to grade. I don't need to spend time at the printer during my prep period. It's all right here for me. That game that we played, the worksheet, if I had to do a quiz in here, all those things, all right in this one lesson file. I'm going to open up one other person here. Lauren, I'm going to use yours if that's okay. Ooh, what does it look like sledding with lots of snow? It smelled wet and cold. Yes, cold does have a smell. I love that. It's part of why I moved away from Chicago. We all live in a warmer climate, right? And Serena, let's see what you did. Oh, a COVID secret trip with my kids, a crazy automated character, and Disney dining. What did it smell like? Chicken nuggets. And what did it taste like? Chicken nuggets. They do. That smell does linger. I did pick up some chicken nuggets last week in my car. I feel like still has that smell lingering. Yes. All right. So let's take a look because I'm going to pop out right now and show you how simple it is to build these activities. Noel, quickly remind me, I've got until about 20, right? You want 10 minutes about at the end?
You can have till 25. I think
Sounds
5
awesome.
minutes at the end is perfectly fine. Even
Cool.
3.
All right. So I can do a lot in 25 minutes. That's awesome. So here is what I want you all to do. And Noel, I keep calling on you just because you're the first person right on my screen. Lee, I see you helping in the chat too, and I really appreciate it. Okay. So what we're going to do is I would love for you to choose your own adventure. Okay. So think about who you are as a learner. I'm going to give you some options. If you want to now just close Lumio, sit back and watch me in the Google Meet, I'm going to show you how to build these activities. So option 1 is just sit back and watch me. Option 2 is I'm going to tell you how to log in. And if you need to push and click everything as I push and click it, that's option 2. And option 3 is like get started with pushing and clicking with me and then totally go rogue. All right, so choose your character, what kind of learner you are. Again, those options are just sit back and watch me in Google Meets. Or option 2 is I'll tell you how to log in as a teacher and you'll click as I click everything. And then option 3 is start clicking with me and then go rogue. All right, so if you are just wanting to sit back and watch me, go ahead and just close Lumio and just hang out with me in the Google Meet. If you would like to log in as a teacher and click as I click, what you'll do is in your top left corner of your screen, you'll click on your little 3 lines and you'll have a little door and it'll say leave class. Mine says end lesson because I'm the teacher. Yours will say leave class. I'm going to end lesson. And what you're going to do is you'll go to www.golumio.com. I'm putting that in the chat box for you. And you should be able to sign in or make an account with your school district account.
Michelle, let me just interrupt for a second.
Yes.
You all have a portal tile.
Oh, yes.
Your portal. So if you've already been in and you've accessed Lumio through the portal tile, you should already be set up and ready to go. But if you haven't, find the portal tile and then you'll set up your account from there.
Yes. Yep, go to your portal, click on that tile. Andres, if you stick around, you are putting a really, really great idea in the chat. So stick around to the end because exactly what you're saying, Andres, I'm going to tell you more about it. In case anyone doesn't see that Google chat, Andres is asking a really great question. If we have anything that's kind of already created that you could then modify to your needs, there is, and I'm going to show you how. All right, let's take a second. For anyone that wants to log in as a teacher, you're going to your portal, finding the Lumio tile and signing in. Just in case, I'm going to just wait your district credentials. I'm going to wait one more second just in case there's anyone that wants to follow along as a teacher. But again, option A, you can just sit back and watch me in the Google Meet. Ah, Serena, are you finding some familiar things in there? Yep. So if you're signing into your smart board, if you've got a smart board, you're signing into it, anything that you previously maybe would have done on your whiteboard on the smart board, auto saves to your Lumio or Smart Learning Suite, if you ever use the Smart Learning Suite, SLSO. And that's always a tongue twister for me. Yep, exactly. Yep, Smart Learning Suite. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to take a look. I'm going to show you how to build a couple activities, if that's okay with everyone. Again, you can just watch me in Google Meet, or you can tap as I tap. All right, so let's take a look at on your home screen here. Click on this new button if you're following along with me. And if I move quickly, remember that this is being recorded. I just want to show you how to build a few things. All right, and at the end, at the end, I am going to show you so many resources that even though our time is short here today, there is going to be a lot of different places for you to go to keep your learning going. And it looks like now my Lumio is like, Michelle, what are you doing? All right, here we go. There we go. When you hit this new button, here is all the different things that you can do when you start a Lumio lesson. I'm going to first show you how to build a game because it literally can be done in just a couple of minutes. Let's come right over here to where it says game-based activities. And here are the 12 different game-based activities that you can do in Lumio. Anytime you see those little graduation caps, if you do click on them, it gives you a little video with like what that game can look like and some different ideas of what you can do. So Match 'em Up is that game that we played, the holiday Christmas movie matchup. So let's go ahead and click on Match 'em Up. The templates all look just like this. It's very, very simple. So you can do either text or image. So again, you can kind of build what I'm building or go rogue. But let's go with the math teacher here. I'm going to do 2 plus 2, and then I'll put the answer on the other side. So this is kind of like your legend, if you will. So you're going to do it correct here. And then I'll just do 3 plus 3. Maybe you're matching uppercase and lowercase letters. Maybe you're a chemistry teacher and you're going to match an element to its value. Maybe you're matching fractions to decimals. Again, uppercase to lowercase letters. Think of different ideas of how you might use this instructionally with your students. I'm just doing a really simple one here because remember, I taught kindergarten and this is the capacity of my math abilities. All right, so from here, what I'm going to do is I have some options with checking answers. So we can do check instantly, which means as soon as I make that pairing as a student, it'll right away tell me if it's correct or incorrect. Or the second option that says when prompted, it makes me do the whole activity and then it'll tell me how I did. All right, so now I just have to click the next button. And you can click any of our pre-made themes here. We've got a few different pre-made themes. Some are fun, some are more simple. Or you can bring in your own custom background. So I brought in that Christmas lights background to kind of go with the theme of my game. But just for a time's sake, I'm going to click this blue one and hit finish. Guess what? That's it. My game is done. That's how simple it is. Games are ideal for me in the pre-break weeks. That is, yep, students are already in vacation mode and so are the teachers, absolutely. So now that I've created my game, I can preview it. Look how simple that was. So I'll just put 6 plus 6 and 12. And there we go. That's how simple it is. We had some different ideas going in the chat of how you might use this game. Awesome. All right, I'm going to show you how to build 2 more things, and then I'm going to go through how many resources are available to you if you thought Lumio was cool and you want to keep learning. All right, so now that I've created this game, I can hit this plus button here. And here's that same button as what I had, that same menu on my homepage. One thing that I want to call out, okay? So I know lots of us, remember I mentioned, like we have all of our pre-made materials as PDFs, Google Slides, PowerPoints, Canva. You can click right here on this import button and you can import the things that you already have right here. Diana, I sure do. I'm going to show you all of those things in about 5 to 10 minutes. I have so many tutorial videos for you. You're going to love it. There's so many different ones. You got it, Maureen. You too. So here is where you can bring in anything that you already have from your computer, your Google Drive, anything like that. So Canva, PowerPoint, Google Slide, PDF. You can bring that right into here and make it interactive. Okay, so we just built a game. One other thing that I'd like to show you how to build right here is this graphic organizer. Remember I had that Venn diagram for all of us? Let's take a look at how many different graphic organizers there were. So we had this little content mapping over here. That's where I asked you all your favorite winter memory. What did it taste like? What did it smell like? What did it look like? I just grabbed this guy right here. Or when we talked about holiday themed activities and curriculum aligned activities, here's that Venn diagram that I used. Let's take a look at another one. I'm going to do the brainstorming web. Bring it in, and now it's just on my page. So I didn't have to create it, but I want to customize it to my students. So I'm going to grab the text box, and maybe I'm with my second grade students, and we're brainstorming adjectives. Let's brainstorm adjectives. What grade does that happen in? Is that second grade? Maybe.
I guess it could be.
Yeah.
We start writing really early, so maybe even some adjectives in first grade.
Oh, yeah. David says yes. Okay, thanks for that confirmation, Noel and David. All right, so I am going to just oh, there you go. Marisol just did that today. That's amazing. All right, so I'm going to just kind of customize my text box. Maybe I want to go like this. I'm going to center align it, maybe bold it, make it bigger for my students. All right, so here is something really important that I want everyone to consider. When you're creating for your students, anything your students should not touch, you're going to lock. So, right, like I don't want them to touch my instructions. I'm going to hit my little arrow. Yep, so important. I'm going to hit my arrow and lock it. So now you'll see they can't touch it anymore. Okay. But I also want to give my students a little support here. I'm going to click on my little gallery button. That's the same that you saw as a student, that little heart plus image and circle icon. Hit my microphone and record myself. Let's brainstorm adjectives. Add audio, and I'm going to move that right here. So if any of my students need support reading my instructions, there it is for them. All right. One last step, my little magic wand right here. You noticed earlier when I was showing you from the student side of things, I was converting my activities into activities on the fly with you, but I could also do that in advance. I like to do it on the fly because I always get with that group of students where I'm like, I need to hold on to my worksheet and give them all of my instructions before I pass it out. But maybe you want to set it ready in advance. Yes, I will definitely show you how I got that audio in a second. Here we go. There's two different ways to do it. The first one is right here, that little gallery button. I clicked record audio and I recorded myself talking and it popped up on the screen. I like doing it that way because then I can move it around anywhere I need. The other way is I could have just clicked before I locked this text box. Before I locked it, what I could have done also is attached audio like this. So let me show you the difference. La, 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 la. And now that audio is like hanging out in that bottom left corner. So just two different ways to do that. There's two different ways to record audio. Okay, so last step here is converting this page into an activity. This magic wand right here in the top right corner. Here is where I can make it an individual handout, a group workspace, which we didn't talk about much, but I'll tell you about right now, and then a whole class whiteboard. The group workspace, essentially what it'll do, and I couldn't show it to you because it does cap at 54 students and we had like 100 of you logged into my lesson. It'll auto-generate small groups for you, which I love because, you know, the students are always like, Ms. G, you always put me with Leah Noel. And then you can just say, it wasn't me, it was the computer that did it. But you still get the opportunity to manipulate the groups if you need to, in case you don't want Leah and Noel in the same group together. But that's what the group workspace is. It's kind of like a combination of the individual handout and the whole class whiteboard. Each group gets their own copy, which is really cool. Yes, Jennifer, I actually, as a former kindergarten teacher, I have lots of cool ideas of how to use audio. I was matching like little pictures with audio so they could match the sounds together. There's a lot of really cool ways. I can show you that file as well. Okay, so I want to show you, I've got about not too much time left, but I want to show you different places you can go for ideas, templates, and resources. So I'm going to finish editing here and come over back to my Lumio homepage. I'm going to show you some cool things. I ask that you don't get lost right now with me, because I'm going to show you some things that might get really exciting. Please bookmark it and come back to it and stay with me, because I want to make sure that you hear all the really cool, exciting things that I show you, because the next thing that I show you, you might really like. So I just want you to just put a pin in it and just stay with me if that's okay. All right, right here, Lumio Library, top right corner, Lumio Library. I think it was Andres that was asking about some pre-made templates that you could modify. Right over here, please don't get lost looking at these right now. They're really exciting, but stay with me. Here are a ton of pre-made resources for you, kind of like Teachers Pay Teachers, but it's totally free and totally customizable. So let's just say I like this one right here. Maybe I can scroll through here and I'm like, oh my goodness, I really like this page. Once you hit save to my library, it fully becomes my own copy. So if I like the background, but I don't like the text, or I like the text and I don't like the background, or I want to make some modifications to make it more accessible for my students that might have an IEP or anything like that. Once you add it to your library, it's your own copy and you can modify it any way you want. So that's part one. Don't get lost here with me, because this is really exciting. There's really cool stuff here. All right. What I'm going to do now is come back to my lesson, because I'm going to give you a few links in the chat for you to bookmark. All right. I'm going to come back to the bottom here. So before I go over my resources, one other thing that I wanted to say, if there are some of you in here that are existing Lumio users, here's kind of like a little challenge I have for you of ways that you can level up using Lumio. One way is take a look at layering and grouping objects together when you're creating. There's also different ways that you can customize your game templates. This is all I'm going to show you videos of where these were made, so you can watch those videos to kind of challenge yourself. And then also think of different unexpected ways that you might use some of those activities. So for anyone here in this call that is an existing Lumio user and you're looking for different ideas for how you can level it up, here's some ideas, and I'll show you where you can go watch videos for these. All right. First things first, and I'm dropping this in the chat for y'all. The page that I'm looking at right now, here is a link to that page. I'm going to go through what each of these are. So the first one is a global community. I'm going to come back to that in just a second. Learn Lumio. If you click on that, it's all clickable on there. There's different things that you can do to keep learning with Lumio. Our YouTube channel specifically, if you're the kind of learner where you need like little clips, go to our YouTube channel, because there are anywhere from like 1 minute to like 15-minute clips of different ideas for you. I do a Lumio live every other Tuesday. It's 15 minutes. It goes live on Instagram and YouTube, and I do different bite-sized ideas on there, but there's also quick train videos. Yes, lots of different great ideas of how to build a game, how to build a handout. And then also on my part, if you see anything with my face on it, I'll do a lot more like instructional ideas for you. Not so much tutorials, but more so like instructional ideas. We also have webinars. Highly recommend the webinars. And if you see any webinar that you like, always register for it, even if you can't attend, because if you register for it and don't attend, you'll just get the recording automatically sent over to your email. If you click on that webinar page and scroll all the way to the bottom, all of our previously recorded webinars are on there too. If you like Canva, we just did a really cool Canva to Lumio creation webinar literally last week, and that's on that webinar page. The next thing I'm going to drop in the chat for you, if you are a social media person, I'm just putting our Facebook group in the chat for you. I highly recommend joining the Facebook group, because my team and I, we're always posting different videos. We're posting different resources, things that we really like from the Lumio library. And we're also always posting announcements of webinars and things like that. So if you are a Facebook or social media person, the link is right in the chat for you. that Facebook group. Highly recommend taking a second right now to join that Facebook group, because it's also a really good place for you to come ask questions. There's 3,000 people in there. Someone will answer your question the second you post it. So if you have any kinds of questions, put those in the Facebook group. All right. One more thing I'm going to put in the chat for you. Promise this is the last thing. We also have an ambassador community. And so if you want to know, if you are loving Lumio, we're always coming out with new updates, feature releases. Those are always getting posted in our ambassador community. We're a global company, so teachers from all over the world are posting the really cool Lumio lessons that they're creating in there. And then our team, we're giving you announcements on all the different updates and features that are coming out in Lumio. So if you are part of that Lumio Educators Facebook group, that's going to be the place you go to get really fast answers to your questions and announcements. And then that ambassador community is a really good place to stay in the know for webinars and any of those feature releases. And we just released like 3 last week, and there's a lot coming in January. And that is what I've got on my end. So if you have any other questions for me, other than that, I'll just pass it along to Noelle and Lee.
I just
Perfect.
have one thing. Just because you did those activities, can you just quickly share with them how they, sorry, Lee,
It's okay.
just share with them quickly how they share with their students. I know we saw the code at the beginning, but just in case they were not sure how they're going to share their
Absolutely.
lesson with their students.
So Michelle,
Absolutely.
you should be able to share over me.
Yes,
And then
there
I'll
we go.
pop it up when we can.
You got it. So once you logged into your Lumio, you got your own Lumio code assigned to you. So remember when you came to my class, it was 181461. So from my presenter screen, I can just click on my little people and then click on this little outward facing arrow. And then here are 3 different ways to join live time. I'm going to show you another thing in just a second. So if you have iPad students, you can use the QR code. They can go directly to lumioclass.com and put in the code, or here's a direct join link that you can post in Google Classroom or anything else that you're using like that. One other thing I'm going to show you is, let me exit my lesson. From your library page, these 3 dots right here, third from the bottom is your share link. Really, really important. There are 2 links here. The top link is your student share link. That is if you want to give your students asynchronous work. So for homework or independent time, this is your asynchronous link. Okay, so that's your student asynchronous link. And there are, yes.
Have Mr. Nugent asked this question specifically, so I'm so glad you're going over it. This is
Yes.
how you share if you're doing small groups or your students missed the class and you still want to share with them. This is how you do it. So
This is it. If you're doing small groups, homework, study guide, anything like that. The only thing that won't work asynchronously is a group activity. So the monster quiz, which is our version of Kahoots, and then like a group workspace and a shout it out. Those are the only 3 things that really won't work. But all of the games, individual handouts, whole class whiteboard, that all will work asynchronously. And then this bottom link right here is a teacher share link. So let's just say I may be my team lead and I made something really cool and I'd like to give it to my other co-teachers. This gives them a copy of that lesson. So if they mess with it, it won't mess with your copy. It gives them their own copy. Before I really pass it back over, one other thing I'd like to say is I recommend making a folder and calling it like your master copy folder. So before you teach a lesson, what you can do is go to your 3 dots and duplicate that lesson so that you have a clean version of it for next year or next period if you teach multiple sections of that class. And then all that data will save and you'll still have a clean copy ready to go.
Awesome.
Yes,
We
work smarter,
appreciate
not
you.
harder.
Yes, that is my motto. Like, we don't get paid enough. So please work smarter, not harder. Share with your colleagues that have the same subject, content area, whatever you can. So I'm going to be ping-ponging in just a minute, but I do want to show you some amazing resources that you can come back to, because I know sometimes it's a lot, it's overwhelming. Michelle sent out a great amount of resources, but we also have them on our EdTech Training website. So if you didn't already know, I'm going to share with you. Here is that beautiful tile in our portal. I'm telling you, it's a hidden gem. When you click on it, you will get to this website. You'll see the 3 lines on the left. You'll pop it out. hit the caret for applications, and you can go right to Lumio. And guess what? These are all Lumio resources, all by code week, guides, training videos that someone said they needed. They're all there for you. So please take a look at those resources. We are happy to help you.